to have 9 days in Wolverhampton, so he's not quite the glamour of Vegas. But we've had some good times in Vegas in the past as well.
I've got to say, I love the Civic. I love the event.
Good venue.
Yeah, it's a great venue, and you know it's really become the home of this event over the last 8 or 9 years, and we're on course at the moment for record sales as well. We've had about 12,000 tickets already sold. Not too far to go to break the record that we set 3 or 4 years ago. So it's fantastic.
With all due respect to our pals at ITV, Sky do it great, don't they?
Well, I think what happens with Sky, I think because they've got the extra budget, they're coming in with so many extra cameras and they get every single angle, and they are a little bit, I don't know, polished, I suppose. Yeah. You know, they do a good job.
Because the darts, we all love the darts, but it becomes incidental to what's a great event. If you know what I'm saying. It's a great event, isn't it? The event overtakes everything. The fun you can have. You can have a great night out. Even if you don't know what darts is about, you can have a great night out.
Well, it isn't just a game of darts anymore. It's actually a show.
Yeah,
when you
exactly.
when you're getting, you know, girls that turn up, 5 or 6 of them, and they're dressed up. They're just out for a great
to
night.
get yourself down.
Yeah, Tails, you've got to come down. It is a show, and it's all part and parcel of it. The crowd, sometimes they get a bit rowdy, and we get the players complain a bit, but it's, you know, they've got to get on with it. That's never going to go away. And when you're packing, you know, 10 or 12,000 people in, you know, you're going to get, you know, at football, Tails, you know, you get told that your mum's not too well, and of course the dart players are getting that, but it is, you know, they're millionaires now, so it's get on with it.
For throwing an arrow.
Big money in darts, Tom.
Throw in a few arrows. Can't believe it. Get that elbow ready. That tells you're struggling with the women.
It's great, but, you know,
if they're at the darts, they obviously got good eyesight. So you're wasting your time. Let's talk to the number 3 seed before we do the draw, Steve Bunting. Steve, how you doing?
Yeah, not too bad.
Liverpool fan as well, they tell me.
I am, yeah. Not a good time at the moment.
Hard luck.
Oh, even we beat you, Steve.
Exactly, yeah.
Isn't it amazing? I was listening today to a national station, and they're talking about some Liverpool fans want Rodgers gone. Last year he was the greatest thing since sliced bread, when the reality is you've lost 52 goals, that's all. In Suarez and Sturridge.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Suarez was the best striker in the Premier League last year, and you can't replace him no matter what money you've got, because he's irreplaceable, and obviously they've bought Balotelli in, who's nowhere near as good as him. And
well, that's putting it mildly.
Yeah.
But you're right. But not replacing it, and you know, no matter how much money they got, it's no good if you don't replace the goals, is it?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, he bought Lambert in to sit on the bench, which I find
don't understand that. Don't understand
that.
Well, you had Carroll and Lambert, and I think neither of them fit the way Brendan wants to play the game.
No, definitely not. So I just can't understand why he brought them in, but it's a strange one.
If they need a big lad to sit on the bench for tens of thousands a week, I'll go as well.
Yeah, Dave Allen, yeah, big lad. Well, I have to say, I don't know about what Steve, but I said to Addy Redknapp last week at QPR, 3 stone overweight, 60, 70 grand a week, I'm your man. I won't run around either. Not a problem for me. Steve, firstly, a massive event this for you. It's your first time in it?
It is, yeah. I mean, I went last year to watch one of my friends, Ricky Evans, and I'm really looking forward to getting there and getting on the board and hopefully having a good tournament.
Because you're the BDO Lakeside champion.
That's right, yeah. So, I won that in January and obviously seeded number 3 for the event, so I fancy my chances.
Do you fancy, I was going to ask you, do you fancy your chances? Because, I mean, you know, with all due respect, you know, when you start talking Van Gerwen and Taylor and Barneveld, I mean, you're up against some real top names.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's a bad player in the event, to be honest. No matter who you get, you've got to play to the best of your ability. And obviously, I beat Phil in Germany a few weeks ago, and I know I've got the game to beat any player on that in that event. So I've just got to be confident and just go there and just do what I can do, basically.
It shows a little bit with the standard as well at the moment that we've had the wildcard qualifier today in Wigan to fill the last 3 places. Darryl Fitton hit a 9-dart finish and then went out in the next round, and we had 3 fairly established professionals get through in Brendan Dolan, Jamie Caven and Darren Webster. So, you know, even 9-darters don't win your matches nowadays. Amazing, isn't it? And, well, we'll see who you get, and good luck. What do you come out to, by the way?
Ask Dave Allen.
We decided at the moment.
We're currently trying to build the Bullet brand, and we've been speaking with Sky, and Stephen's had Bullets in a Gun in the past, which is a dance track, but we're speaking to Sky about how we can build the brand, the Bullet, because obviously Stephen's, he's got a huge future in the game. He's young, he's exciting, he's a fantastic
So he's going to be
talent,
Stephen the Bullet Bunting.
That's his nickname, yeah, and he's come over with that. But
Brilliant.
So we want to build something that fits that we can take forward over the next decade, 15 years with him.
Sounds like you've got a big future ahead, Stephen.
Yeah, that's it. I'm still only young in the darts game. I'm 29, so hopefully I can be around for the next 20, 30 years.
You're certainly young in this company. That's for sure. Stephen, thanks very much. Good luck. We'll see you at Wolverhampton. Good luck, and we'll make the draw now. That's time to make the draw, and as usual, Tails, you'll sort out them black balls for us?
Yep.
So while
I'll get my black balls out.
Explain, Dave, what happens?
Yeah, while Ian's just massaging the balls there, we've got 32 players in the tournament. The 8 seeded players are already placed into the 8 groups, and then the remaining 24 players are split into 3 pools for this draw. So we have pot 2, pot 3 and pot 4, so we take 1 player from each of those pots into each group. So the first group of players that Ian will be pulling out is pot 2. We've got Gary Anderson, Dave Chisnall, Andy Hamilton, Kim Huybrechts, Mervyn King, Robert Thornton, Scott Waits and Simon Whitlock. So Ian, if you're ready over there, the first player out will go into Group A with Michael van Gerwen, the number 1 seed.
Right. Here we go. First one is number 4.
And number 4 is Kim Huybrechts.
Excellent.
And then the next player out will go into Group B with Alan Norris.
He was a World Cup runner-up in 2013.
Yeah, he lost to Stephen in the Lakeside final this year.
Next one's number 7.
Number 7 is Scott Waits, who of course won the Grand Slam of darts a couple of years ago, and also a former Lakeside champion himself.
Brilliant.
Going into Group C with Adrian Lewis.
Number 2.
Number 2 is Dave Chisnall. He's
be a good match-up, that game. High scorers, plenty of 180s.
Very quick. Going into Group D with Raymond van Barneveld.
Is that number 6?
Number 6 it is. Robert Thornton, the runner-up in Wolverhampton last year.
Can I just say, Charles, we've only got 7. It can't be 9.
Yes. I got it right, didn't I?
No, we've got 8. Well, hopefully we've got 8 anyway.
It certainly isn't 9.
Going into Group E with Phil Taylor, the reigning champion.
Number 3.
Number 3 is Andy Hamilton from Stoke as well.
Is this still the man that people want to keep away from?
Yes, I think it is, yeah. I mean, him and Van Gerwen, but Taylor, even though he lost to James Wade last night, it was still 104, 105 averages.
Wow.
So he's still keeping that high performance up. It's just that the other players now are getting more consistent to just keep with him, but he is still the player to beat. He's got that fear factor still.
The voice of Rod Harrington, Sky's darts pundit, Tails.
Going into Group F with Peter Wright.
Number 8.
Number 8 is Simon Whitlock, the top Australian player, former European champion as well. Going into Group G with James Wade, who last night won the Unibet Masters up in Edinburgh.
Number 5.
Number 5 is Mervyn King, who he actually beat in the final last night. He came from 9-2 down to win 11-10. It was an incredible comeback, and his first big TV title for 3 years or so. And then the final one going into Group H with Stephen Bunting.
It's number 1.
Number 1, Gary Anderson. Big name. He's got himself back into the world's top 7 this year with 6 victories on the circuit. So great to see him back. He's a former Premier League champion and Grand Slam finalist as well. So now we go into pot 3. So I think the balls have gone back in the bag. We've got in this group we've got Keegan Brown, the world youth champion, Jan Dekker from the BDO Lakeside Championship, Terry Jenkins, Christian Kist, Tony Oshea, Michael Smith, Vincent van der Voort, and Dean Winstanley as well. So go into Group A with Michael van Gerwen and Kim Huybrechts.
It's number 2.
Number 2 is Jan Dekker from Holland. Double Dekker, as his nickname is.
I wonder why.
Really? Going into Group B with Alan Norris and Scott Waits.
Number 3.
Number 3 is Terry Jenkins.
He's been playing really well, Terry Jenkins. He's got a lot of bottle. You really have to play well to beat Jenkins. He's been around a long time. 7 major finalists he's been in, and tough player to beat.
Going into Group C with Adrian Lewis and Dave Chisnall.
It's number 1.
Number 1 is Keegan Brown, the world youth champion from the Isle of Wight. Young player's already beaten Phil Taylor twice on the circuit, so obviously a lot of potential there. Going into Group D with Raymond van Barneveld and Robert Thornton.
Number 7.
Number 7, Vincent van der Voort from Holland as well. Going into Group E with Phil Taylor and Andy Hamilton.
Number 4.
Number 4 is Christian Kist, the former Lakeside champion from Holland. Group F with Peter Wright and Simon Whitlock.
Number 6.
Number 6 is Michael Smith, the former World Youth Champion. And Rod, I think you've seen a lot of Michael this year.
Yeah, what a talent this young man's got. I think, you know, definitely a world champion in the making. Maybe in the next 10 years, maybe even the next 5 years. He's an Adrian Lewis and a Gary Anderson, that electrifying power scoring on the treble 20. It's brilliant to watch.
Going into Group G with James Wade and Mervyn King.
Number 5.
Number 5 is Tony Oshea, great player from the BDO circuit and a former semi-finalist in Wolverhampton as well. He loves the stage there. He comes onto a great walk-on tune of Hey Baby, and it really gets the crowd going. So, popular guy. And going into Group H with Stephen Bunting and Gary Anderson.
The last one, number 8.
Dean Winstanley, a former Lakeside finalist and former semi-finalist in the Grand Slam as well.
So 1 pot to go.
Absolutely, 1 pot to go. And this includes the 3 wildcard qualifiers from earlier today. Brendan Dolan, Jamie Caven and Darren Webster, as well as Richie George, Robbie Green, Wesley Harms, Ronny Huybrechts and a youngster from Austria, Rowby-John Rodriquez.
So one of those that are listening now, what would you want to keep away from now?
Probably, I think, Rod, Group B.
Yeah, I mean, to be quite honest, Tom, I mean, they're all great players, so you've got to not worry about what
You've got to beat them anyway.
Yeah, you've got to go in there with top form. But, you know, obviously groups where you've got Taylor, Van Gerwen, you know, that's going to be a tough group to come out of because, you know, if you're a bit of a newcomer to the tournament, you're thinking, well, I may lose that game, so I've got to beat the other players. It's a very tough school.
Well, there we go then with the final pot.
So to go into Group A with Michael Van Gerwen, Kim Huybrechts and Jan Dekker.
Number 8.
Number 8 is Darren Webster, who, as we say, won up in Wigan, won his place today with about 230 other players, and he was one of the 3 that came through it. Going into Group B with Alan Norris, Scott Waits and Terry Jenkins.
Number 4.
Number 4 is Ronny Huybrechts, the older brother of Kim and a former World Cup finalist, playing alongside his brother as well. Going into Group C with Adrian Lewis, Dave Chisnall and Keegan Brown, we have...
Number 5.
Number 5 is Rowby-John Rodriquez. So we've got a potential rematch of the World Youth Championship final there with Keegan Brown as well.
Yeah, and he's another real good talent coming through. He's got 2 other brothers that are really good players. And we've got 3 youth players in the tournament this year.
I was going to say there's some good youngsters, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean, we run a youth tour now. Next year, there's going to be £160,000 up for grabs for youth players. And we're seeing 9 darters from these youth players. And people say to me, why don't you play anymore? You come and watch the youth. I'm not going to get my proverbial backside kicked by you. I might start headbutting people. It won't be just a tap, it would be a
Not that we're condoning violence at darts, of course.
The final player in Group D with Raymond van Barneveld, Robert Thornton and Vincent van der Voort.
It's number 2.
Number 2 is Robbie Green, the former Lakeside semi-finalist. Going into Group E with Phil Taylor, Andy Hamilton and Christian Kist.
Number 1.
Number 1, Richie George, the son of the great Bobby George.
Oh, is he? Related to Bobby George?
Yeah, the son of Bobby, and he played in this tournament last year, reached the Lakeside semi-finals a couple of years ago. He's actually taken a bit of time out of the game this year to focus on his family and his career, but he'll be in Wolverhampton, and by all accounts he's raring to go. So
Fantastic.
Group F with Peter Wright, Simon Whitlock and Michael Smith.
Number 6.
Number 6 is Brendan Dolan, another one of the wildcard qualifiers today, former TV finalist as well, and hit the first ever double start 9-darter as well, so he's plenty of pedigree on the big stage.
That Group F, that is a tough group. you couldn't pick who's going to come out of that group. That is that even.
Going into Group G with James Wade, Mervyn King and Tony Oshea.
Number 7.
Number 7 is Jamie Caven, another of the wildcard qualifiers, and he's making his debut in the Grand Slam this year from Derby. And finally into Group H with Stephen Bunting, Gary Anderson and Dean Winstanley.
Last one, number 3.
Number 3 is Wesley Harms from the Netherlands, another former Lakeside semi-finalist. So that concludes the draw.
And just before we run through the draw again, seems to be a lot of Dutch... Is it very popular in Holland then, the darts?
Yeah, I mean, when Raymond van Barneveld started winning them World Championships 5 times, it really did come on over there, and it went absolutely mad for years. And then it's died a little bit, but we've seen a resurgence in the last 2 or 3 years. I mean, the PDC are really starting to push it in Europe. And, you know, with all the extra money, I mean, £7.5 million we're putting into prize funds now throughout the world, and mainly in Europe. And so, you know, young kids are looking at that going...
It's a career now, isn't it?
It certainly is, Tom. I mean, instead of, you know, you going to your son, you know, give him a football or give him a tennis racket, give him a golf club, now they're giving him sets of darts. And I have to say, a lot of the, especially European kids, they're doing it right. You know, they keep themselves fit. You know, they know they're going to be on their feet 7-8 hours a day at these tournaments. And the talent that's coming through now is exceptional.
And one thing to note as well, that there are 6 Dutchmen in the tournament. We've got 2 Belgians and a young Austrian who's 19, 20 years old as well. So, you know, the game's starting to spread. We do 8 European Tour events during the year that are streamed on the internet, but they're almost a breeding ground for the stage, because they're streamed. It's a big event in front of a couple of thousand fans in Germany and Austria and Gibraltar and Holland, but they're getting used to the stage. So when they actually qualify for something like the Grand Slam, they're not a rabbit in the headlights in front of the TV cameras. They're used to being on stage in front of a noisy crowd. So they can settle a little bit easier.
And also, I mean, the setup of the game now, you know, you look at golf, and you know, you have your club, then you have your county, then you have your Euro Pro Tour, Challenge Tour. What we've got in darts now, we've got the Youth Tour, we've now got a Challenge Tour with plenty of prize money, 200,000 nearly up for... Then we've got the Pro Tour, which is your first stage into
crowds
pros.
for them.
We don't really have a lot of crowds in, because when you get 120-odd players and their personal guests...
There's not much room left.
There isn't much room. Yeah. But, you know, we've got the Pro Tour, then we've got these Euro events that are streamed, and then you've got the TV events. And then from there, we bring on these Masters events. And we're talking about some of the exotic places we went to. I mean, we've had one in Dubai, Singapore, Perth, Sydney. You know, and the sad thing about it, we had to go to Perth and Sydney, and the golf courses down there are absolutely exceptional.
Hey, I was always told, study at school, because darts and it's misspent youth.
Doesn't sound like it to me.
Well, when you bring, when you decide, when you
Michael
and Barry Earns start to get dominoes in, me and Tales are in it with
Michael Van Gerwen's won himself about £1.5 million in prize money in the last 2 years. So, you know, he's changed his life, and young kids now are seeing that, and they see that he's the world #1 world champion. They want to be like that. Yeah. And he, you know, even Stephen this year has joined the PDC circuit. He's done really well, and you know, he's starting to change his life through darts. You know, the prize money that he's able to...
The big earner still
to win. Well, at the moment, it's actually Michael. Michael's won five or six
career earnings.
But yeah, career earnings. Phil's over $6 million for his career now, and you know, it's amazing the longevity for 25 years.
It's not an expensive sport to start up, is it?
It's not, Tales, and that's why we're trying to move it. We've now got it into colleges on the curriculum. At Stockport, and now putting it into Nottingham as well. We're getting ex-players that are going in to teach the kids how to do this, and of course, like I said, all over the world. You know, one dartboard, one set of darts. Loads of people can just share that. It isn't like, you know, other sports where you've got to have your own equipment like golf. And it is, and the educational side of it, I'm a big believer that if you make things, you know, fun, it's going to sink in.
Absolutely.
And darts, and it's a
maths
proven...
for a start.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
couldn't play darts.
It's incredible that we're getting these kids, because they can throw darts. They're actually brilliant at maths.
Yeah.
It's
You
just
pick it
because
up
they
fast
enjoy
enough
doing
as
it.
well.
Anybody who saw Tales shoot would know he couldn't play darts.
I don't know. As a Leeds fan, he always reminds us of the goal that he scored at Wembley. in the
I
League
don't
Cup
have to.
final,
I don't even have to say anything.
So
about
he
that,
got it on target once.
Oh, Wembley when they battered Leeds 3-0.
Yes, yeah. He reminds me of that every year when we come in. So.
Massive club. Dave, as always, it's brilliant. Thanks very much. Can you just run through it again, the draw? Can you just run through
Yeah,
the
so
draw?
in Group A, we've got Michael Van Gerwen, Kim Huybrechts, Jan Dekker and Darren Webster. Group B, we have Alan Norris, Scott Waits, Terry Jenkins and Ronny Huybrechts. Group C, Adrian Lewis, Dave Chisnall, Keegan Brown and Rowby-John Rodriquez. Group D, Raymond van Barneveld, Robert Thornton, Vincent van der Voort and Robbie Green. Group E, Phil Taylor, Andy Hamilton, Christian Kist and Richie George. Group F, Peter Wright, Simon Whitlock, Michael Smith and Brendan Dolan. Group G, James Wade, Mervyn King, Tony Oshea and Jamie Caven. And Group H, Stephen Bunting, Gary Anderson, Dean Winstanley and Wesley Harms.
And it's at the Wolverhampton Civic, and if people want tickets, what do they do?
They can go onto the PDC website, pdc.tv/tickets. We've got all the information on there, or contact the Wolves Civic on 0870 320 7000 or via wolvescivic.co.uk.
Fantastic.
Thanks, Tom.
Guys. We're back,
guys.
Tales and I, talking your club, talking football, and, of course, giving you the chance to win tickets for the Wolverhampton Civic. Thanks very much indeed to our guys. We're back after this.
Tom Ross's Goals.